This is Cory McCarthy, and welcome to a new episode of Fit, Formidable, and Fantastic. That's right. Go F yourself. And happy Meatless Monday. Hope you've all had a good weekend. I got a very elaborate episode in store here for you. It is going to basically... It's like a rebuttal against 9 common prevailing myths or arguments against the vegan diet. And you'll find a lot of these in, these dime a dozen blogs all the time, like, online that regard why somebody will never eat vegan or will never go vegan again, or why vegans are hurting themselves, etc., etc. You know the drill. There's a lot of these kinds of blogs out there, and some of these are used as arguments against us, against our diet, because people seem to like attacking the vegan diet. Maybe it makes them question their lifestyle, or whatever the reasons may be. They like to attack the vegan diet, and these are some of the 9 common trends I tend to see, and I'm going to give a rebuttal for each one. And of course, you can. If you look in the summary of the video, the description of the video down below, you'll see all the references, and there's a laundry list of references, a very long list of references I used to create this video. So bear with me as I go down this list. The first argument I commonly hear about the vegan diet or against the vegan diet is that no traditional cultures were sustainably vegan. This is just ridiculous. This is a logical fallacy. I would call an appeal to antiquity. Basically, they're assuming that just because something isn't historically or traditionally the case, that it cannot or will not occur. That's just completely poor logic, basically. So that's all I have to say about that one. Moving forward, vegans do not get enough vitamin D. Okay, first, let me begin by saying that vitamin D is best absorbed with fat. So you have to ensure that you are not consuming a low-fat diet. Unfortunately, there's a lot of vegan fad diets that advocate low-fat. In men and women, 0.34 grams of fat per pound of body weight is what is recommended for proper hormone health. This is approximately 20% of your maintenance calories. You shouldn't go below that. That being said, the major source of vitamin D for everyone is the sun. It can stimulate vitamin D production in our skin after just 5 to 30 minutes of exposure, depending on where you are, twice a week. Granted, some parts of the world, for instance, like England would be a good example, or here where I live in New York City, there isn't a lot of sunlight to obtain, and sometimes hardly any to come by a majority of the year. So yes, it is advisable to get it from diet and or supplementation. Dietarily, vegans will mostly obtain D2. Now, research from 2008 published in the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology and Metabolism found that D2 is just as effective as D3. That said, other research has shown that D2 only has 1/3 the potency of D3. So what I would recommend is you ensure you get a higher level of intake as a vegan. That would be beneficial for you. So seeing that you're getting in D2, just ensure you get a higher level of intake of D2 to balance out that potential 1/3 less potency than D3. Some vegan sources from diet include fortified foods, of course, and of course mushrooms, specifically the shiitake mushroom. Now, moving forward, the next one. Vegans cannot get vitamin K2 from diet. This is incorrect and as a blanket statement, but I will need to explain. Leafy greens provide adequate vitamin K1. The scientific consensus is that both K1 and K2 are adequate. Barring any health issues, your body will produce K2 in the gut. Again, being fat-soluble, a low-fat diet, as I mentioned for vitamin D, is not advised for proper absorption. Some vegan sources of K1 include kale, which has 531 micrograms per half a shredded and boiled cup, spinach, which has 442 micrograms per half a boiled cup, broccoli, which is 110 micrograms per half a cup, Collards has 418 micrograms per half a boiled cup. Romaine lettuce has 48 micrograms per shredded cup, and Swiss chard has 286 micrograms per half a boiled cup. Those are some examples of what you can get. So essentially greens and cruciferous veg. The sole vegan sources of K2 are actually matcha tea and natto. Natto is a traditional Japanese fermented soybean product. Those do, in fact, contain natural sources of K2. So you could also try to get those in your diet. And you might also notice that a lot of vegan vitamins that contain K2 tend to derive it from natto. If you look at the ingredients and the sourcing. Well, that's just one. That's one of the ways they derive it. Anyway, moving forward. The next argument is that vegan diets are B12 deficient. I agree with this to a point, but let me explain. B12 has limited sources in the vegan diet. Aside from fortified foods, there are only two significant options that do not contain B12 analogs, which are in active form. And that is the nutritional yeasts Red Star T6635 and Saccharomyces cerevisiae. And often you'll notice that Saccharomyces cerevisiae is the source used for B12 in vegan multivitamins. This all being said, B12 is a common deficiency. Oh, sorry, I want to add one more thing to this. I've recently read that moringa, which is a mostly edible flowering plant native to Africa and Asia, apparently contains more B12 gram for gram than steak. But I can't actually confirm this with any kind of research analysis. This is just something you'll notice listed in these whole food moringa supplements. So I don't know how true that is or if it's an exaggeration. So like I said, at the moment, I couldn't find any research analysis on moringa and its actual B12 amount per serving. But anyway, back to what I was saying. B12 is a common deficiency, and not just in vegans. Being that it's a water-soluble vitamin and near impossible to overdose with, I would suggest that everyone, whether you're vegan or not, supplement with a quality B12 product daily. And there are a number out there in the market, even for vegans. Now Foods makes a sublingual liquid vegan B12 complex. And it contains a lot of peripheral nutrients to help you absorb that B12 even better. Anyway, moving forward. Vegan diets are iron deficient. Well, vegan diets are actually rich in iron sources, but it's advised to consume iron-rich foods along with foods that are rich in vitamin C. Now, I want to note, this is more important for women. Women tend to have more of a problem with iron, needing iron more so than men. So women even sometimes are advised to supplement with it if their blood, but you have to make sure your blood results show that you're deficient. So I would get this kind of thing tested. Don't just blindly supplement with iron. It can lead to a toxicity. But anyway, consuming iron-rich foods along with foods that are rich in vitamin C will lead to significantly higher absorption of the iron from the foods. And there are just more sources than I even care to stand here and name drop. So let's just sum it up by saying that in general, good vegan sources of iron are greens, beans, nuts, and seeds. Those are some great sources of iron that are not fortified. So moving forward, another myth or argument. Vegans cannot obtain direct EPA and DHA, which are omega-3 fatty acids. This is incorrect. Flax and chia, for instance, are rich in ALA, not DHA and EPA. However, a direct vegan source of DHA and EPA omega-3s is algae. And there are products you can purchase, such as Diva brand vegan DHA and EPA, as well as Nordic Naturals brand vegan algae products. Consequently, Nordic Naturals also sells a vegan D3 supplement that is derived from lichen. I just thought I'd put that out there. The next one is, vegans rely heavily on soy, and soy raises estrogen and lowers testosterone. This is incorrect, but I need to elaborate. It's incorrect in healthy people. Those with specific sensitivities or existing health issues might want to be wary of their soy intake. But according to a meta-analysis published in the Fertility and Sterility Journal in 2010, no clinical studies have shown ill effects of soy protein or its isoflavones on the reproductive hormones in men, such as total or free testosterone and SHBG, which is sex hormone binding globulin. So if you're just a healthy individual, go ahead and enjoy your soy. If you have some sensitivities, I would suggest you consult with your doctor or limit your soy intake or avoid it altogether. But by and large, in the biomedical literature, soy either has neutral or positive research associated with it. So let's stop the fear-mongering here. Finally, and this one I find quite absurd and literally clutching at straws in an attempt to attack the vegan diet from any angle they possibly can. And that is that plants feel pain too. Plants lack a central nervous system, and as such cannot process sensory information like pain or pleasure. This has been documented in the 2012 paper, Nociceptors and the Perception of Pain by Alan Fine, PhD, a professor of cell biology at the University of Connecticut Health Center. This is not the case with animals, and even insects, in fact, which research has shown feel pain, can express empathy, altruism, change of moods, and even self-awareness or consciousness. So I just find that argument absolutely absurd and literally clutching at straws in any attempt to try and attack our diet in any way they possibly can. You know, when in fact, you know, killing animals for food is, you know, documented that you're killing a conscious being. A conscious being who has the ability to engage in sensory pain and pleasure and activities that we do as well. They even express empathy and altruism, for Christ's sakes. So anyway, I wanted to point that out there. Those are the 9 arguments and or myths that I wanted to hit up on regarding things that are used against the vegan diet. If you'd like to add anything, discuss any of these things further, elaborate, whatever you want to do, please drop it in the comments below. Otherwise, I hope you guys have a good week. I'll see you guys this coming Friday for a new episode, regularly scheduled. Until then, stay fit, stay formidable, and stay fantastic. I will see you around.